Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dave's Top 3,000 Songs of the Rock Era. I'm your host, David Tare, whereas the title says I'm featuring my personal top 3,000 songs of the rock era from 1954 to 1999. And today I'm up to song number 2538, and that one is Revolution 1 by the Beatles. And this was a version, a cover of another song by the Beatles, just known as Revolution. And this is the sheet music for the song Revolution. It's the same song, but the original was just called Revolution, and that was just released as a single. But Revolution 1 was released on their album called The Beatles, more commonly known as the White Album. Just a white cover, basically, that says The Beatles on it. Kind of an uninteresting cover, but a great album, great two record LP. I used to own this one. Excellent album. I think it has a total of 30 songs on it, including this one, Revolution 1. But I want to say a little bit more about. I'm not going to feature the Beatles because I'm featuring 91 songs by them on my list. And this is already, I think, the 16th out of 91. But I think I should say a little bit more about the song Revolution. There were actually three songs by the Beatles that featured Revolution in its title. There was, the original Revolution. Here's a picture of the Beatles around the time they recorded it, by the way. I'm not sure what this banner is they're holding. It was kind of during their psychedelic phase in the late 60s. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, there was a single just called Revolution that was released, I guess, about 3 months before the White Album, which had Revolution 1 on it. But a little bit of interesting trivia about and by the way, the single Revolution was the B side of a double sided hit. Hey Jude was on the A side. Hey Jude was actually the Beatles' biggest hit of all time. It's been 9 weeks at number one. None of their other songs spent that long at number one. I think the closest second was I Want to Hold Your Hand. Their first number one, which spent 7 weeks. Yeah, Hey Jude's coming up much, much higher on my list. I'm not going to say how high, but very high. Revolution's also, the single Revolution's also coming up on my list pretty high. I'm not going to say any more than that. But there's one more thing I want to say about all this. Well, actually, there's a few more things I want to say. Uh, actually, they recorded Revolution 1 before they recorded Revolution. I think they recorded Revolution 1 in May of 1968 because they were recording the White Album. They were busy in the studio recording all 30 songs for their White Album. I think they spent most of the year doing this. And I don't know when exactly they wrote the song Revolution, but the first version they recorded was Revolution 1, which is a slow version of this one, Revolution. I actually prefer the faster version, but they're both good and they both have the same lyrics. And I guess I want to say a little bit about the song. It's actually sort of an anti-protest song. You might think it's a protest song from the title Revolution. I mean, a lot of people were talking about revolution and revolutions in the late '60s because it was a pretty tumultuous time. I mean, it was kind of the height of the Vietnam War, and it was the young generation kind of rebelling against the older generation. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with all this. So a lot of people, they said revolution was in the air. Everybody was talking about revolution. Let's throw down the establishment. Let's have a world run by hippies where we don't trust anybody under 30. All this shit. You'd hear it all the time, and sex, drugs, and rock and roll, all that. But this is actually, I think, a little bit of a counter-revolutionary song because they're saying, they're trying to warn against, don't try to overthrow too much stuff. Like they're saying, the chorus says, it's going to be all right. Basically, stop worrying about everything so much. Things are going to work out. I wish I could have the same confidence today with Trump. Unfortunately, I don't. I don't feel like things are just going to work out with a new dictator for president right now. But enough of that. But obviously there was a lot of social unrest, but the Beatles were trying to calm everybody down. This is actually one thing I really like about the Beatles. Beatles were, their message was a very positive message. I mean, I think all throughout their career, their message was basically peace and love, and Even like the early music was very cheerful, just kind of love ballads for young people. Later, they got more into, psychedelic stuff and sort of more politically rated and socially relevant topics, but they were always very positive. I can't think of very many negative songs by the Beatles. I mean, there were a few. Your Blues, I don't know what that's all about. I guess I'm lonely, wanna die. I mean, there were a few dark songs by the Beatles, but not too many. Helter Skelter. I mean, supposedly that's a song that made Charles Manson go crazy and do his mass murders. But I think that was more Charles Manson's fault than the Beatles. He just misinterpreted their music, and he was pretty wacko. But enough said about that. The Beatles, the Beatles are great. One reason I've always loved the Beatles was I always felt they had a very positive message throughout their career. I still do, especially Paul. John was a little weird. But yeah, I guess I want to say one more thing. They had a third song with Revolution in the title. It was also featured on their White Album. It was called Revolution 9. And it actually featured this song. This is the second song I featured on my list. It just barely made it number 2999. And I guess the reason I put it near the end, I mean, I wasn't even sure whether to put it in there or at all. It's a weird song. It's a very, very weird song. Most people think Revolution 9 is one of the worst songs ever recorded by the Beatles. I kind of agree with that, actually. I don't think they needed to record Revolution 9. It's not even a song. It's more of a kind of a sound collage, and it's a very weird one at that. It's got a lot of weird stuff in it. It's about 8 minutes long, and it's got some very disturbing, I don't know, just kind of dialogue and weird sound effects, and there's even a section if you play it backwards. I've never done this, but there's a section of this song. If you play this section backwards, you can hear this cryptic message from John: "Turn me on, dead man." Repeated, I don't know how many times, but that was used. I think there was some crazy DJ in Detroit who used this as evidence that Paul McCartney was dead and that he'd been replaced by a double. I think he even made this claim before the White Album came out. I think the Beatles were just kind of playing along with this, and I think John was having fun with it probably. And I heard Paul hated the song Revolution 9, by the way. There were a lot of songs by the Beatles that Paul really did not like, and Revolution 9 was one of them. And I think that was more John and maybe Yoko's baby. I don't know. You can hear Yoko in that song too. There's part near the end where she says you'd be kind of naked. I don't know what that was all about. But anyway, very weird song. But I do like Revolution and Revolution 1. And that's why I'm featuring Revolution 1 at number 2538. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say about it. So thank you for watching. Um, Long live rock. And here's a little psychedelic thank you. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.